So in this video we will be testing the difference between these two transmitters. This one is 2.4 gigahertz 500 milliwatt. This one is 900 megahertz 500 milliwatt. And we will be testing which one of these transmitters gives us better video quality and reception. Antenna wise, we are sticking with the half-wave dipole. This antenna is what's in here. I took one of these little antennas that come with the 2.4 gigahertz transmitter apart, and this is pretty much what it is, and this is also a half-wave dipole. So I built a half-wave dipole for the 900 megahertz video transmitter, so the antennas are pretty much the same, and this will give us an accurate, we will be able to see how the frequency is making the difference in the video and not the antennas. So here we've got our setup. I've got the twin aerial video, twin FPV plane right here. Right now the first flight is going to be with the 900 megahertz transmitter. We've got our patch antenna 6 inches off the ground about. That's about how high 900 megahertz patch antennas should be. And I'm recording it with the laptop right here, and it's also being recorded in the GoPro. So, flying a Dragon Link. Here is my Dragon Link transmitter. And for this first flight, I'm going to be flying, or for both the flights, I'm going to be flying up to that mountain. We'll just see how high up there I get. I think the top of that mountain is about 2.5 miles away, so I'm probably not going to make it all the way to the top, but maybe we'll get like up to that rounded ridge or something like that. So here we go. First flight, 900 megahertz. For some reason the 900 megahertz wouldn't work at all. I've flown here with 900 megahertz before and it worked fine, but this time it just didn't work at all, like zero video. So there's probably something wrong with that transmitter or something like that, but it was cutting in, like there was a tiny bit of video when I was just having it sit here, but when I got it up in the air there was just nothing. So I'm gonna try 2.4. So now I've got the 2.4 gigahertz 500 milliwatt transmitter, and I've got my 8 dBi 2.4 gigahertz patch antenna right there. The one right there is also 8 dBi, but it's just bigger because it's 900 megahertz, so same strength or whatever antenna. And then I've got my receiver right here. That's the 2.4 gigahertz standard receiver. I've got this hooked up to my computer to record it, and the GoPro is also recording it again as well. So we're gonna fly it now. So my plane was just up there. This plane is pretty fast, so it got up there in a hurry. It only took about, I don't know, 3 minutes to get up there or something like that. That's 2.5 miles away, I think. I'm gonna go back on Google Earth and check to be sure. But the 2.4 gigahertz worked flawlessly, except I did have, as you could see, some noise in the video, and I believe that is because I'm using no ferrite rings or anything like that to keep the noise down, and I have everything just stuffed in here. So in the future, I'm gonna put this out there in the future, but I'm gonna get the 900 megahertz transmitter working so I can throw that on here and see how that works. But the Dragon Link worked flawlessly. It was all good. When I picked it up, the wheel fell off back there. That's no biggie. I was landing on this slightly bumpy, like dirt strip right here. So anyways, half that test went well with the 2.4, the 900 megahertz, that did not go well. So I'll have to come back another time and try that out. The receiver worked nicely. This is just a little tiny antenna, and I was able to go 2 miles easily. So I just got to get rid of that noise, and the 2.4 gigahertz will be absolutely beautiful. In the future, I want to get up there. That's 3.5 miles 3.5 miles, 3,000 vertical feet. And once you get on the backside of that mountain, you can see into Salt Lake, and it's just that's really high up. If you crash up there, you're not getting it back. So anyways, that was the first test, and I'm gonna get the 900 working. So it turns out I was completely wrong about the distance. I don't know why I thought it was 2.5 miles. Probably I thought that's how long it was when I measured it on Google Earth, but it's actually 1.8 miles. So from that parking lot right there to top of that mountain right there. So that's the distance on that. So for the plane right here, I put this 900 megahertz transmitter up on the wing. I was getting a lot of noise in that last FPV flight with the 2.4 gigahertz because all my wires were over here and I had no ferrite rings, so I got some ferrite rings right there. And my transmitter's out here, so I'm gonna hope that works with the 900 megahertz. And when I'm done testing that, I'm gonna put the 2.4 gigahertz transmitter out here because it's lighter, so it can be farther out. So I'm gonna, to compensate for all that drag, that's just temporary. I've got this little thing just to make some more drag and then a little weight right there. So I'm gonna go try that out. So we've got all our stuff here, gonna fly up there again. I've got a little gum stick camera on the wing here to balance the weight and give this side a little more drag to compensate for the video transmitter. Got my computador to record it, and there's a helicopter up there, but I don't think it'll be a problem. Also a hot air balloon. So here we go, gonna fly. So even though I used a different transmitter than I did last time, same antenna, different place on the plane, has ferrite rings on there to take away some of the noise, it still did not work at all. So I just don't know. I think the 900 megahertz, when I was turning the Dragon Link antenna sideways to make the polarity not good for the video receiver or transmitter, then the video would get a little better. So maybe the Dragon Link is interfering a little with the 900, or maybe it's something out there. But whatever it was just as bad as it was yesterday, and I'm just not sure what's up with that. So I'm going to bring out here a little plane that I have with 900 megahertz on it, and it has 2.4 gigahertz for controlling it. I'm gonna try that out here and see how that works out. So this time I've got this plane. I've flown this before, it works out pretty nicely. And I've got the 900 megahertz on there in the same spot. So we're gonna see if the plane makes any difference. And then if that's still bad, we might have to go fly it somewhere else. So I'm gonna fly up to that little ridge right there, not ridge, but that little hump right there. And for the flight radio, I'm not using Dragon Link, I'm just using the normal 2.4 gigahertz spectrum. So we'll give this a try. I was flying about over there and my video cut out and I lost the plane. So that was with 900 and my plane is no mas. I don't know where it is. It's somewhere over there. I was flying for, I'm not sure how long it was flying.
That plane?
No, it's just white. Well, white and gray. The fuselage is gray. Well, it's somewhere over there. Yeah. Bill sees it. Where is it? Tell me.
I see. Okay.
So there it is, right in the center of the screen.
Yep.
That's the plane. Don't know how he found that. Right there. That should be it right there. Right there. Time to go get my snow boots on. I began my journey up there. The mountain where I flew to that was 1.8 miles away, that's the top of it right there. Bill is my ground support, so he's gonna use his binoculars to tell me where I'm going. and I'm just hiking up the mountain and falling through the snow. Got my little map here. Right now I'm about right there. My plane's up there. That makes it about over there. So it's not too long of a hike, but yeah. So I've come to this river that I have to cross. Oh, never mind, it's not a river, it's just a stream. But, oh jeez. It's kind of deep right here. Gonna jump to that rock right now. Oh, and we're done. Bye, river. Here we have another river slash stream. Little animal trail going down to it. My shirt just got stuck on a branch. Well, this one's not very big. And on your mark, to go. Got it, don't worry. Now I appear to have found some sort of animal. Or dead animal. I'll throw a snowball at it and see if it moves. Here. Yeah, it's definitely dead. Bye, little dead thing. There is my ground station. Here I am. And the parking lot I was flying from is right down in there. So that's about half mile, I think. No, it's way more than that. Or way less than that, I mean. According to Bill, my plane should be right around here. So I think it's up a little further. I found it. It's right up here, sitting there all majestically and stuff. That thing is totaled. Went straight in, it looks like. And with this plane, I already had a LiPo, or not a LiPo fire, but an ESC fire in it. So the ESC is toast. Or not the ESC, but a long time ago it was. And it burnt like the whole thing. So, there it is. Wow. There we are. There's Guillermo down there. Hiked all the way up here. Here's my little map. My receiver, that's the part that I did not want to lose with this plane. So the FPV gear is under the snow. So the battery got smashed up against the camera, but it looks alright. I mean, the wires are all crinkled here, but I'd guess it's usable again. I don't know though, I'd have to see because it did get smashed right there. So the camera is wet. Good thing I waterproofed it. So except the little connector right there got all screwed up. The transmitter is a little wet, but it looks fine. Looks fine, yeah. So, and everything else over here, this looks not bad, but the satellite receiver got unplugged. There it is. My carbon rod is sticking in the snow there, but now I just gotta take all this crap back to my car. So there it all is, safe in there. And I was just way up there. Time to go home. So this is a little test I did comparing the 2.4 gigahertz and the 900 megahertz. Both the receivers were in the same place in my bedroom, and I was using just the standard antenna that came with them. So that's just the little rubber ducky antenna. On the transmitters, I was using the dipole antennas, the half wavelength dipole antennas, and I just went out and walked around my house, and you can see the difference here. They're pretty close. The signal is going through quite a few walls and just pretty much walls, that's it. But anyways, this is just a little test to see the difference between 2.4 and 900 when you're going through a building or whatever. So today we've got this plane right here. This plane has a very long flight duration. With this battery, it's a Gravity Hobby 3800 milliamp 3-cell battery. With that battery, it'll power this and run the motor and run the camera for about an hour. So this thing will fly for about an hour with all this FPV equipment on it. For the controlling it, I'm using the 2.4 gigahertz. And I've got my patch antenna on my computer to record it. And we are kind of in, I'm not going to say the middle of nowhere, but it's far from anybody with like cell phones, and we're going to fly up to that mountain right there. That's about a mile away, I think. So here we go, time to fly. So as you can see, the 900 megahertz video link worked out pretty nicely. I did have some glitches with the 2.4 gigahertz control link, but it worked out all right. It didn't crash or anything. Right, that little flight right there, I went out a mile exactly. Here's a little Google Earth view of that. It doesn't look like a mile at all, but that's how far it measures out on Google Earth. So I had some fun. I flew out to a little tree over there and kind of flew around it. And then later I was flying over this storage place. So this flight worked out really nicely. And this whole flight was 14 minutes, and I only used about 25% of this plane's battery, which is pretty crazy. So anyways, yeah, this one worked out nicely. So we're gonna fly again with 900 megahertz and 2.4 gigahertz for the control. We're on the top of a very tall hill, and I'm not gonna do too long of a flight because my battery isn't fully charged from the last flight. There's some houses over here, but hopefully those won't be too much interference, so we're gonna give this a shot. So the 900 megahertz worked out really nicely here also. This is a great place to do long range flights with, but there's not much place to land, so I'm not going to be taking my twin aerial video plane out here or anything like that. But as you can see, the video got a little bit bad right there because I did a steep bank turn and then the antennas weren't polarized correctly with each other. But anyways, it works out pretty nicely here, but I had to cut my flight short because it started to rain. So I'm back here at that parking lot place, and now I've got the 2.4 gigahertz out on the wingtip, and I've got some ferrite rings in there. They probably should be closer to the transmitter. But then I've got the GoPro right there and a little camera right there for the FPV. I'm not using the GoPro because that doesn't really work as well with this transmitter for some reason. I've just got my setup here, and we're gonna fly up there. So I got pretty far up there, but my video, it like kind of cut out for a second, and it was just kind of noisy. I think same problem that I had last time I flew up there with the 2.4. So I'm gonna try the 2.4 gigahertz over by that really ginormous empty place and see how it works over there. This morning we actually went over there to fly first. I was planning on flying over there, but it was really windy over there, and it was also really windy here, just higher up. There's no wind here though. Not much wind here, but higher up there's a lot of wind. So, and then we got kicked out by a security guard, so I guess I can't fly here anymore. But anyways, I'm gonna fly at the other place next with the 2.4, see how far I can go. And here we have many balloons flying around. So I've got the twin aerial or twin FPV plane out here again, and I've got I took the little camera away from right there and put it out here to maybe get the FPV system further away from all the other stuff, and maybe reduce some noise. But in the future I want to put the camera like right up next to the transmitter so there's like very little noise from other stuff. But I'm gonna fly this way and see how far I can go before my video gets bad or whatever. And I'm using Dragon Link to control it, so we're gonna fly it now. So I was cruising along here, and with this plane I can fly for about 6 minutes going out one way and then 6 minutes coming back. And I was nearing about that. I was at about 4.5 minutes when I got out to the maximum distance that I got. When I was about like, I don't know, 100 yards from where I turned around, I had a little glitch in my video, but all up until then it was pretty good. There was some interference, or I don't know what it was, but it wasn't perfect, but it was pretty good out until about 1.25 mile, and then I decided to turn back just cause, and right when I turned back the video was horrible, and I lost video for about like sometimes like 3 seconds I had no video, so that was kind of weird. I'm not sure why, but right when I got facing back towards my antenna or where I was, the video just got bad. So I'm not really sure why that was, but it was weird. So I was able to fly at home all right. The video would get pretty good, like right there, and then it would get really bad again. But anyways, I went a total of 1.5 miles out, so that wasn't even as far as that one time when I went to the top of that mountain. So what I think I'm gonna do is try 900 megahertz out here and see how far I can go with that. But I just need to get another Dragon Link receiver, and then I can do that. I'll put that on probably the plane, that one plane that I flew that flies for a long time. So here are just the highlights of the second flight I did. I was just kind of like flying around just for fun. So I'm out in another weird place. I can't go over to that like place that I normally fly from because it's snowing over there, and it's still snowing here. But I've got my patch antenna, and I'm gonna fly up to those houses up there. And I've got this plane with Dragon Link and 900 megahertz video. So I'm gonna see how this goes. So I've got 900 megahertz, 8 dBi patch right there, and got my laptop, Dragon Link on my DX7, and here we have this plane. And I had that inverted V antenna on it, but that was not working out. I'm not sure. There must have been a problem with it or there must have been a bad connection with that SMA because it did not work. So I have this little 2 dBi whip antenna, 900 megahertz. I'm going to try that out, and then of course I've got Dragon Link on this, and I'm going to fly out that way very far. There's a fire station, I think, right there, or maybe it's over there. And anyways, I'm just going to fly over to those buildings and see if my video is good. So yeah, here we go. So I was getting some bad video, which is weird because I was using the same antenna on my micro drone version 2, and I was able to get farther out than this, and I had good video. So there was something wrong with this setup, but anyways, it didn't work out very well at all, and I wasn't able to go very far at all. So we're out here again. We got this plane, and this time we've got Dragon Link as last time, but this time we've got 2.4 gigahertz, and this is not a Lawmate transmitter. Before I was using 2.4 gigahertz Lawmate, but this is Foxtech Hobby. So this is on channel 8, and the other time I tried 2.4, it was on channel 0. So this is channel 8. I think this is a lot less crowded frequency, so we're gonna try that. And I'm gonna fly out that way. I got 8 dBi patch, Lawmate transmit or receiver. This is also a Foxtech Hobby transmitter or receiver, and I'm gonna try this after I fly with the patch antenna, and I've just got a standard little antenna on there, so I'm gonna try that after. But yeah, we're gonna fly, so here we go. So on this flight I beat my distance record by a lot. I measured it on Google Earth, and I went 3.1 miles. This flight was kind of sketchy because when I was going out I had a tailwind, so I was going really fast, but when I was coming back I had a headwind, so it took a lot longer, and I thought I might run out of batteries. But this whole flight took 18 minutes, and I only used half the battery. I was at like 48% of the battery left. So anyways, right here the video got a little bit bad, but I turned around and the video was still good, but then when I got facing back towards me, the video got bad again. Like, it was bad the whole time, and it was like almost so bad that I couldn't fly back, but I made it back, thankfully, because I don't have any like OSD or anything to guide me home. So anyways, yeah, that was pretty sketchy, and it took a lot longer to get back. But anyways, I made it out there, so now I just got to figure out why my video gets bad when I turn around. So yeah. So another thing I learned during this flight was that it's best to have your Dragon Link module as far away from your video receiver and antenna as possible, because when I would move it farther away, the video would get better. So I'm gonna figure out a way to mount my Dragon Link really far away, like on a wire that goes out to another tripod or something like that. So here are some pictures you can look at while I talk. First of all, every flight I did in that whole video, I used 500 milliwatt power output transmitters. So both the 2.4 and 900 megahertz transmitters were both 500 milliwatt. And when it comes to the 2.4 gigahertz ones, I used Lawmate for the first few flights, and then Foxtech Hobby for the second few flights or whatever. And I prefer the Foxtech Hobby ones because they have like a built-in microphone, and I found they're a little more reliable. And also they're on channel 8. The Lawmate ones come on, if you buy a Lawmate one in the US, it's not channel 8, like it comes locked on channel 0. So the Foxtech Hobby ones, you can change the channel, and also they are a little bit more heavy and bulky, but I don't really mind that. I'll just, for now on, I'm gonna go with Foxtech Hobby instead of Lawmate. So with the 900 megahertz transmitters, as far as I know, pretty much all of them are the same. All of the 500 milliwatt ones, they're a little bigger than 2.4 gigahertz transmitters. And because I don't know why, but all 900 megahertz stuff is a little bit bigger, like the receivers and especially the antennas. 900 megahertz antennas are pretty big compared to the 2.4. But here are some advantages and disadvantages of these two frequencies. One disadvantage of 900 megahertz is that it interferes with cell phones. One time I was flying and my dad shut off his phone, and it probably like sent a signal then, and that caused me to lose the video completely. But one advantage of 900 megahertz is it theoretically has better penetrating power, so it can go through more houses and trees and stuff like that. And it also theoretically has a longer range because it's a lower frequency. And another disadvantage of it is that if you're using like a long-range UHF system, it might interfere with that because it's a closer frequency than 2.4 is to 433 megahertz, and that's what UHF is. So now for the 2.4, they have smaller antennas, like I already said. Usually the transmitters are lighter, and they interfere less with Dragon Link because they're a higher frequency, and Dragon Link is a really low frequency, or just any UHF. But they also theoretically have a shorter range, which theoretically stuff never really seems to line up with reality. And that's pretty much it. One thing that you need to keep in mind when you're deciding to buy this stuff is one system that might work perfectly for someone and they can fly many miles away might work horribly for another person. It all depends on your environment and the type of plane you're using and how you have it set up. And radio is really weird. It just depends on a ton of stuff, what'll make it work good. Like, I bet if I took someone like Trappy's FPV system and I put it on my plane, I would probably only be able to go like a mile with it. Like, I've had, like, for some reason, all FPV equipment kind of hates me. Like, I haven't really been able to go very far with very solid video. Video is my weak link. It could be my environment, or it could just be how I'm setting it up on the plane. But anyways, I still have a lot to learn in the FPV world. So don't listen to me. I hope you just like take this information you learned. Maybe it was just entertainment. Maybe you already know everything about FPV. But anyways, I hope you just take this information I learned and just help you decide on your FPV system. Don't like base it on this video. But overall, I think I'm going to go with 2.4 gigahertz Foxtech Hobby equipment from now on, just because I've had the best luck with that so far, and over time I'm going to keep perfecting my equipment to get the longest range. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and subscribe. Adios.